On this show, we cover some sensitive topics.
Though the obituaries may be outlandish, the people are real.
Names have been changed or omitted in order to respect both the deceased and the survived by.
While death is no laughing matter, some petty last words can provide some pretty entertaining comic relief.
Welcome to Obituary. Welcome back to Obituary. I'm Spencer Henry.
And I'm Madison Reyes.
And this one is for all the lovers in the audience tonight.
All you sweet, sweet lovers.
You sweethearts. What's everyone's plans for Valentine's Day?
I think strolling in their car, maybe going to a lookout point to make out.
A little make out, a little over the pants action.
A little under the pants action. It's Valentine's Day. Come on.
A little soaking cum.
Oh, baby soaking. I would love to be the person that has to move the bed. Have you heard that?
Yeah, like they just hop up and down on it.
Uh-huh.
If any of you have done that, let us know. I guarantee.
And what's the special underpants?
Yeah, we want to see them.
We want to see them.
Show us. Show us. We're just a bunch of sickos.
Just a bunch of sickos.
Okay, Madison, pop quiz. Mm-hmm. How often do you think you and I, talk on the telephone? And I have the answer, but I want you to guess. Like on average.
Are we talking like days or hours, or because we talk every day?
Guess minutes.
Minutes.
So there's 60 minutes in an hour.
I'd say like 120 minutes, like a good 2 hours every day.
Well, Madison, I'm going to blow your wig off right now.
How much do we talk?
So I was actually curious about this the other day because we just talk on the phone so much. And I added it up. And here's the thing. We do a lot of like we always call each other in the morning and like kind of like if we have any, work calls or anything that day or anything we have to do, we'll talk about that. Or if we're working on a project. But
does this include FaceTime?
No.
Okay.
So also know that because we do also FaceTime every night when we're like making dinner and stuff. We talk on average for 3.5 hours a day.
Really?
3.5 hours. And that's not FaceTime, and that's also not in person.
Holy shit.
We don't text, I'll tell you that much.
We really don't
rarely.
text. Yeah, rarely. That's insane.
Isn't that wild?
I did text you the other night. I was like, don't hang up on me because I think you got off the phone too quick.
I'm a hanger-upper.
You are a hanger-upper.
I'm a click. But here's what I noticed. There's a pattern because we do not talk for there's always at least like an hour phone call during the day, but it's a lot of call each other usually in the morning. And then when we're both done at the gym, because our workouts, I work out, then Madison works out. Mm-hmm. We call each other after that. Mm-hmm. And then we'll usually call each other for another 30-minute, for our dog walks probably.
Yeah.
And then at night, it's normally on FaceTime, but all together.
5 hours straight.
It's just we're always just hanging out.
I know. I love it.
I know. Thank God. Thank God we both love it.
I know. That would be awkward.
Your husband doesn't always love it. He's like...
No, well, he calls us both fucking annoying. Remember he
Yeah.
left the room the other day?
Yeah, he's like, you guys are fucking annoying. He's like, what do you guys even have to talk about?
And you were like, you married us.
Yeah.
This is your fault.
You chose this life. You knew what you were getting into.
No, I mean, not secretly, but I know that he loves it because then I'm not up his ass all day.
I'm like, what don't we talk about? There's not a thought in my head that you don't know.
Well, and there's also a lot of the times that we talk and it's dead air. We are not talking.
Well, we'll put our phones down and
sometimes I forget we're even on the phone.
100%. Or sometimes I'll leave the phone upstairs and go do something and come back and I'm like, are you there? You'll be like, yeah.
Just sick.
Just sick as.
Sick in the head.
Okay, wait. But speaking of the gym.
Oh my gosh, we started at the new facility.
The new facility, it's a boxing gym.
Holy shit.
We're doing our same workouts. Well, very different actually, but we're with our same trainer and we have doubled our workout times.
We are feeling it. This whole fucking week, I have been exhausted, wanting to sleep, sore.
We were like, oh, I guess we were just warming up the last couple months at the other gym because
we were laughing. We were like, that was nothing.
We have been getting our asses handed to us. It's wild.
And I feel like it's a little bit more of an intimidating gym because it's like a boxing gym and there's real athletes that are fucking, putting work in.
Don't look at me in my Garth Brooks shirt
Yeah.
and my little shorts. Please don't look at me because you look like you could kill me with a punch. But I love it though. Because it's it's a little grittier.
It's not a little, it's a lot grittier, honey.
But it's kind of fun.
I know.
I feel like I'm in like a movie or something.
Yeah. And we asked our trainer, we're like, is there going to be any way that we're going to be able to be in that boxing ring? Because we do want to beat the shit out of each other.
We were like, can we do that? Or you know what we should do? We should set up like, you know how they do like celebrity boxing matches? They should be like podcast. We should box another podcast.
Okay, yes.
So please let us know who you'd like to see us box.
I have a vivid memory. I think I've told you this before. My mom used to buy this Java chip ice cream, and I loved it. And I have memories of sitting watching Celebrity Deathmatch on MTV, and I loved it so much. Eating my Java chip while my mom is vacuuming. And it's just a good memory.
I love it. One of your core memories.
A core memory.
Uh-huh.
Celebrity Deathmatch.
Oh, I'd love to get into boxing. My grandpa Dickie was a boxer.
That's why you have a boxer tattooed on you.
Yeah, it's my dad's dad.
It was Chris's dad.
It's Chris's dad, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I know, but all week it's been so hard to function. You guys, we already know we're fucking annoying, okay? You don't even got to tell us. But the rain this week has been foul. And you know what?
It's foul when you have an animal that is potty trained and will not go in the house and also will not go out unless they're on a leash. Is Hot Dog the same way? Like, my dogs have to be on a leash to go to the bathroom if it's raining.
Well, okay, here's the thing about this time. So back when we were allegedly going to have a hurricane, which didn't even fucking happen, this all ties into...
This week was worse than... Hurricane Hillary.
Yeah, they said Hurricane Hillary was coming. And when that was happening, I bought on Amazon like a big canopy for my backyard to put over the grass because I was like, okay, this will be perfect because if it starts raining, I'll just run Hot Dog out there, put her under the canopy. She can do her thing, whatever. I fucking almost broke my back putting this huge fucking... It's massive. It covers my entire, that grassy area, back there. I fucking put everything into putting that shit together.
Your whole pussy.
Yeah. And I fucking bring Hot Dog out there when it's raining and I'm like, it's go time. I was like lightweight excited because I'm like, yes, I get to use it. And so I put her out there on the grass. What does she do? She walks right outside of it and goes pee on the grass. And I'm like, dude.
Well, at least she went.
I know. I was like happy she went, but I'm also like, come on. She just was like, I'm not doing that.
Wait, did I tell you that because of this rain and this cold weather, we have been hearing things in our attic? Did I tell you this?
Oh my God, yes.
Scratching.
You guys.
Scratching.
It was Madison's turn.
So we had an exterminator come out to go in the attic and check it. And that's like where our AC is, like the big ducts and stuff. And I was like, it's for sure a raccoon because we always hear on our roof, we hear raccoons like running because we have a ton of trees around our house. So he said, there is extremely large rat feces up there. So we have rats in our fucking attic. And skunks under the house.
You are surrounded by rodents.
Thank God that they have not entered the house, but it's only a matter of time.
God.
So they're going to...
There's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
They're going to control it.
They're going to have to set traps for the rats and then also set traps to remove the skunks and take them somewhere else.
It's so fucking wild. Well, as we all know, longtime listeners, you know the experience I had at that.
You moved because of it.
I did.
Oh my God.
I've since moved again. Not because of my stuff. Oh, shit. It's annoying because you feel bad, but it's also like,
Right.
what can I do?
There's a part of me that's like, it's cold. I want them to have a warm place. But no, they're going to fuck up our AC. I don't know if they get into the house. What if they have a disease and the dogs I don't know. So they got to go.
They gotta go. Sorry.
Sorry.
It's terrible.
Oh, and also,
Yeah.
this week I was driving
Uh-huh.
and I was already in a hurry to get to our friend Alyssa's house. And I was with Cisco. And we were already arguing. He's like, you took the really long way to get there. And I'm like, fuck you. And he was right, but I didn't want to tell him. And I was super pissed. And then we were like backed up in traffic. And then we saw cops and they like kind of stopped traffic. And we were behind a funeral procession.
You know the rules.
Oh, thank God for this show because I had to talk myself down. I was like, calm down. This is a funeral.
Yep.
Everybody needs to go. Don't be a fucking asshole. Big, beautiful white hearse. A bunch of people.
I love it. I was laughing at all the comments on the me and the devil.
Oh my God, I know. Some people were like, is that Madison or is that Spencer?
I think one person said that. No, but I know people were like, let's see sisters. Here's the thing about me is I like to make a lot of personal videos for just us. I feel like I always will make funny things, but like just for us.
You have the most insane photos. And
I use the nicest one.
Of me? Yeah. I know you did.
No, you know what's so funny is that, well, I don't know what this means, but every time it's like your birthday or something, I'm always like, we have better pictures now together. Because we've had to take pictures together for things.
Right. Oh, we don't have normal pictures.
No, every picture is like fucking crazy.
Terrifying. I know. Who wants normal pictures?
Yeah. God. Are you doing anything for Valentine's Day?
No, I'm married. We don't do anything. We'll have dinner, but we don't do anything that exciting. What about you?
No swans?
No, that was last year.
Okay, yeah. Last year was the swan year.
That was last year when he flew me to France.
Yes. I recall.
And
he loves to fly.
We adopted swans.
Ooh.
Yeah. What about you?
I will be watching porn.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, speaking of Valentine's Day, I
was like, where's this going?
I pulled a sweet listener email in honor of Valentine's Day.
Oh, let's hear that. That's a good time for that.
Okay. This says, please keep my name and email anonymous out of respect of those involved in this story. So we will not name names or give your email address. But it says, Dear Spencer and Madison, I have wanted to share my story with y'all for the better part of the last 2 years, but it never felt like the right time. However, with Valentine's Day coming up, I felt inspired. This email is long, but please stick with me. To preface, I'm a 23-year-old girl with a very short dating history. I got into my first relationship at the age of 20, and prior to this, I had absolutely no dating experience. I had never even been in the talking phase and was constantly used to rejection. While this relationship only lasted a short 3 months, I knew my first love was something that would stick with me for the rest of my life, which made being broken up with so much harder. While rejection normally broke me, I vowed for this time to be different. In order to do that, I needed space. While we both agreed that we wanted to remain friends, I told him not to contact me for a month to give me time to heal. As the weeks went by, I naturally do what any young college student would do post-breakup: download dating apps. What first started as an excuse to get my mind off my breakup turned into something else entirely. I met a guy. Spoiler alert, we're engaged now. But I can assure you I did not know from our first date that this man would be my future husband. 5 days after our first date, I received a fortune cookie that I still have to this day. It read, "Something good is coming. Don't pass it up." A few hours later, I get a text from an unknown number stating that they were my ex's friend and to give them a call immediately. I will spare the details because I choose to forget this part, but my ex's friend told me that he had been in an accident, underwent brain surgery, and was in a coma for about a week before finally passing away.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
No. The day of the accident was 1 day before the 1 month mark of our breakup. up. The day I told him he could contact me again if he still wanted to be friends. And the day he passed was the day I went on my first date with my now fiance. At this point, I had wanted to swear off dating but couldn't help thinking about the fortune cookie I had received earlier that night. I'm not religious, but I truly felt that fate was at play here. Regardless, the healing process was not easy. I am forever grateful for my friends, family, and now fiance for being so patient with me. I am also extremely thankful for you two and this podcast for helping me to look at death and grief in a new way. It has been so healing to listen every week. While I no longer have contact with my ex's family, I hope that they are healing and have nothing but kind words to say about their son and the selfless life he lived. I hope this email serves as a reminder to send love to all those you hold dear in your heart this Valentine's Day. Wishing you both and all the dogs a very happy Valentine's Day.
Aw.
That's sweet.
That is sweet.
Okay, I love a fortune cookie.
Oh, yeah.
And I think sometimes they're just spot on.
They can be.
And in this case, they were.
Do you remember we went to P.F. Chang's and you pulled a slingshot out of your purse at the P.F. Chang's?
Oh, yeah, I had a slingshot in my purse.
I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, I had one. Don't ask me why.
We had like a weird P.F. Chang's era where we went
A lot.
remember?
Yeah, we loved it.
Whatever, so good. Love that. You know what else I love?
What?
Shamashals.
Shamashholes.
Shamashals, you see? So this one says, mighty asshole, for not giving my sibling a bigger share of the inheritance.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. It says, hi, everyone. My parents sadly passed a few months ago, and we recently did the wheel reading.
Oh.
We recently did the will reading. They had always stated their intent for it to be 50-50 between my sibling and I, and that's what the will stated. I am also the executor of the estate. The estate comprised of a $600,000 fully paid off house and $1.2 million in investments, so $1.8 million total or $900,000 each. My sibling and I are very much different from each other. I have worked hard over the years to advance my career, including many sleepless nights, lots of money spent on advanced education, and lots of deferred gratification. I have followed a traditional approach to building my career as advised by my parents. My sibling, on the other hand, lives for the day and has not put that much effort into building a career. That's totally okay, as we all have our own path to follow, but it's relevant to the story. As a result, I make 3 times as much as my sibling and I have my own house. I do, however, live in an HCOL, and my kids take up much of my remaining income. After the will reading, my sibling and their partner approached me and asked if they could have the house, and we split the investments 50-50. That would give me $600,000 and them $900,000. Their reasoning is that I already have my own home, and they will never be able to have their own home based on their income. Keep in mind, this house is very large, 4 bedrooms, multiple family rooms, a pool, and I said, absolutely not. The split will remain 50-50. I did not say this to them, but I will be splitting my share between my retirement investments and my kids' college funds. I outlined 3 options for them. We sell the house and split the proceeds 50-50. They can have the house, and I will take my $900,000 from the investment accounts, and they will get $300,000 from the investment accounts. And the house. And option 3 is we put the house into an LLC and make it a rental. The house is free and clear, but I would put the rental income for the first year into investment sinking accounts to fund future repairs. These accounts would belong to the LLC, and rental income after that would be split 50-50. This is my preferred option because if we did this, we would have a strict agreement drawn up by an attorney. My sibling's partner started screaming about me about how I'm an asshole and I'm homophobic and transphobic for denying them a chance at home ownership. My sibling themselves kept very quiet. So am I the asshole for not giving my sibling a bigger share of the inheritance despite the will being 50-50?
No, keep it 50-50.
That's the logical thing to do. It doesn't matter what place you're in. That was the intent of the parents to leave it 50-50.
He drew it up. You can have the house, but there's that $300,000 that will be missing from him that he'll get. And okay,
yeah,
there's so many options he drew up.
And totally fair. I feel like the person who wrote this is like, at first when I was reading it, I was like, okay, this person has an air about them by being like, I'm the educated sibling and I advanced my career and I put off delayed gratification.
That stuff doesn't matter.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
What it comes down to though is that your parents wanted it to be 50-50. Splitting it 50-50. It's also, I was reading some of the comments and people were like, why is their partner saying anything?
Well,
Like,
that's what I was
shouldn't
thinking.
be in the
They
conversation.
should not be involved.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, not the asshole.
Definitely not the asshole.
Keep it as fair and 50-50 as possible.
Yes, 100%. The second one says, am I the asshole for telling my wife how to spend her inheritance? Speaking of partners in inheritance.
Oh, okay.
My 32 male, wife 31 female, her father passed away recently, leaving behind assets worth nearly $1 million, which we were very surprised by. He worked in middle to upper middle management of several small companies and was known for being personally frugal but generous to those around him, especially after his wife passed a few years earlier. My wife, as an only child, is the sole beneficiary of his estate, and he did not leave behind any instructions for how this inheritance would be used. This would be a life-changing amount of money for us. We are relatively lucky in that we are both college graduates and have good stable jobs, each making about 50 grand a year. However, with this amount of money, we could buy a house and eliminate our biggest expense, which is rent each month. We could finally upgrade our aging car to an electric vehicle, which we've always wanted to do for ages, partially for environmental reasons, but partly also because electricity is cheaper than gas where we are, so it would actually save us money long term. We have a small amount of student debt we were going to pay off soon anyway, but we could pay it off immediately. We could start a college fund for our children, and even though I'm under no illusions of never having to work again, it would allow us to pull back on the hours and do more of what we enjoy, spend time together, travel, see the world, etc. It seems like when my wife learned of this windfall, she immediately assumed we were going to donate it all to charity. We have always supported charitable causes we care about, and I don't object to donating a portion. However, she seems surprised that I wanted to use it for ourselves at all. Her reasoning is that no one needs or should have this amount of money all at once. We didn't earn it and didn't even know it was there. We were getting along perfectly fine before, and we would still live perfectly fine without it. Sure, it could make our lives more comfortable, but the right charities could leverage this amount of money to change thousands of people's lives. It turned into a nasty argument. I told her since we're married, I thought I should have some say in a major financial decision like this, especially since it has implications for both of us. She said the money was left to her, so she should be able to decide what to do with her inheritance. Am I the asshole?
Okay, while I'm just being fucking real, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And I don't want to be judged for it, but I love her sentiment. I love that she is charitable. And I agree that it was left to her and she can make that decision. However, to leave it, honey, I don't know. I'm just being real.
Well, you want to keep it really real? It's a little under $1 million. And absolutely, I'm not denying that that's a significant, amount of money.
You know what? I'm just going to call Spencer out. He is the most charitable person I have ever known, aside from my mom.
I am?
Yeah. My mom donated. She did so much for animals. But I feel like, and you don't talk about it, but I'm just going to put you on blast. But we'll see something and you'll be like, oh yeah, I donated to them. Oh yeah, I donated.
So I do talk about it.
No, but not in I don't know. You're very charitable.
Thank you.
And I think that's incredible. And if I were a perfect human, I would be like, fuck yeah, donate it all. But it's like on an airplane, you got to take care of yourself first and then you can.
The way you could look at it is I'm going to use this money to put us in a better financial position so that we can continue to help more people.
Right.
But the thing is about the money is like they said, it's under $1 million. And so when he's listing off all the things like buying a house and eliminating college debt and buying a new car and starting a college fund for the children. And when he said, even though I'm under no illusion that I'll never have to work again, it's yeah, it's definitely a significant amount of money, but it's you're 32 years old.
You're going to have to work still a long time.
That's not going to take you through the rest of your life.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it is her decision what to do with the money.
Right.
And I feel okay, you got to just kind of fucking remember that. But that is something that I feel will cause a lot of resentment. And I feel that's something that could lead to an eventual divorce. Because it's you could have made our life easier. Why wouldn't you just do it?
That is a complicated one.
Complicated, but it sounds
I feel like a dick for not being yes, donate it all.
I know.
But there are things
that's us keeping it real. We could easily sit here and be like, no, she should donate it all if we want it to sound fucking good for everyone. But the truth of the matter is, I guarantee 99% of people are the same. Fuck, I probably wouldn't donate all of it.
Right.
Cut to us. 10 minutes ago were like, yeah, don't tell them what to do with their inheritance.
And now we're like, honey,
listen to him.
Get a conservatorship, honey. She's not in the right mind.
She is off her rocker. Today, right, man? We gotta get her. She can't make decisions.
She can't do it.
She's not right.
I guess we're the assholes.
Yeah, we're the assholes in that one. Oh, shit. Well, I am up first this week. Do you have a side bitch for us?
Okay, I do. So Cisco and I we've gotten really into Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Uh-huh.
We're so late to it, but we finally sat down and watched it, and now we love it. And we just finished the first season, but on one of the episodes in the first season, it was a funeral episode, and it was all centered around Larry David, who's the main character.
Yeah.
His wife's aunt passed away and they were at a funeral, and then he was like, you know what, like, I'm a writer and I will submit the obituary to the newspaper. So he does, and the newspaper prints it, and there's a major typo. And I don't have the full, I had to pause it, screenshot. I don't have the full obituary because I don't think there was a full obituary, but you'll get the gist of it. It says, Louise Honan, devoted sister, beloved cunt, passed away due to undisclosed causes last Thursday at her home in Pasadena. She was 72. Miss Honan had worked in a number of occupations over the years, including acting as a personal secretary to cowboy star Hopalong Cassidy in the late 1940s. In her later years, she was involved in much charity work.
It's supposed to be Ant?
It's supposed to be Ant, but it's spelled, if you change the C and the A, it's see you next Tuesday.
I love it.
So there's our little side bitch.
Wow, last time we had vagina.
I know, I'm just
Beaver.
nasty.
We're just disgusting.
Just a nasty woman.
Oh, God. Well, I think we'll take a little quick fiver here, a little quick break, and when we come back, I'll tell you what had me spinning my coffin. You can come too. Bye.
Bye. Hi, we're back.
We're back.
What had you spinning in your coffin this week?
I was floating in my coffin this week.
Oh, no.
Sure was. It's been raining cats and dogs, as mentioned, and there has been some floodings on the freeways and whatnot, and that is what led me to my coffin spinner today, cemetery floods. What happens when a cemetery floods? Do the bodies float away? Are they reburied? So I got to the bottom of it.
Okay, let's hear it.
I mean, there's a lot you probably wouldn't really think about, but a lot of people unfortunately have had to, about what happens when a cemetery floods. So let's just cover those bases first. There are several consequences of a cemetery flood, from coffins and gravesite damage. Like, flood waters can disturb the soil, causing graves to collapse or shift, especially if it's a fresh grave, like that dirt's going up. And coffins can float to the surface or be carried away by the water.
Oh, brother.
Displacement of remains. Floodwaters can displace remains from their original burial sites, potentially leading to the mixing of remains or their disposal downstream, wherever that water is going. Damage to headstones and monuments is another huge one. They can be dislodged, and monuments or other memorial structures can just be completely broken or shattered, or if they're really old, like one little toss over and they're fucking done. And then also contamination, because floodwaters can introduce contaminants such as pollutants or bacteria into the cemetery grounds, potentially affecting the integrity of the burial sites altogether, as well as posing potential health risks.
Yeah.
And then obviously there's like the other side of it, where there's like the emotional impact for families of loved ones that are buried in these cemeteries. Seeing the resting places of their relatives or friends inundated with water would obviously be pretty emotionally distressing.
Yeah.
There's also the cleanup and restoration afterwards, which is a whole fucking thing we're going to get into later on with as far as like how restoration efforts help. But it's a lot of work and a lot of community involvement usually. And then there's also historical and cultural loss, because in some cases, flooded cemeteries can contain historical or culturally significant grave sites and monuments that have been there for
hundreds of years.
Yeah, I mean, we've been to some cemeteries, especially on the East Coast, that are so old.
So old, yeah.
And damage or loss to these sites can result in the erosion of local history and cultural heritage. But there's a few incidents in particular that I wanted to talk about today. And the first is the Great Flood of 1927, which I truly knew nothing about. It's one of the worst natural disasters in the history of the United States, the Mississippi Flood of 1927, during which over 23,000 square miles of land was submerged underwater, leaving hundreds of thousands of people displaced from their homes. Several factors contributed to the devastating flood, but ultimately it was a combination of heavy rainfall and snowmelt in the Mississippi River Basin. And there's things in place when you live near large bodies of water like this to prevent flooding from happening, but I guess they weren't acting right and they weren't put together correctly. Like they weren't constructed well enough to prevent flooding. And so it was this shit show. Almost 250 people died as a result of the flood, and the flooding greatly affected cemeteries that lined the river, leaving the undead also displaced. The local community gathered together to rebury the deceased in their original resting places, but not every family received closure because of the vast amounts of damage that was caused to the cemetery grounds. Obviously, when there's hundreds of thousands of people left in a state of despair, it becomes more about like survival. How are we going to rebuild our homes? So while this wasn't the biggest concern on everybody's minds, think about that scenario, right? Like during this time especially, there were so many local cemeteries.
Yeah.
Like your parents, grandparents are all buried in the cemetery down the road. And then you go to check on it after a flood and you see their headstones are fucking gone, or worse, their bodies.
And everybody was buried at that time. Cremation didn't start taking off for a while.
Definitely not as popular in the 20s as it is now.
Yeah.
Definitely. But I mean, I guess I'd rather have a natural disaster be the cause of their grave being disturbed than grave robbing or
that seems
some sort of scandal.
It all seems like violating in a way, but like Mother Nature, she does her thing.
She does her thing, but still unsettling to say the least.
Absolutely.
Now, 2005's Hurricane Katrina is another massive example of such an atrocity. And because it was a more recent event, there's a lot of coverage surrounding the devastation that gives us a really good idea of what it was like for people at the time. And I mean, talk about chilling. We've talked on past episodes about the uniqueness of a New Orleans cemetery, specifically with their above ground caskets. Because New Orleans is built on wet, swampy land, interment is impossible. So the dead have to be laid to rest above ground in stone mausoleums and tombs. And presumably you would think this would keep them safe in a flood, but it definitely does not. According to the National Hazard Center, more than 1,500 grave sites were destroyed, displaced, or dislocated by wind and flooding. From Diamond Cemetery, which was established in 1800 in New Orleans, caskets were scattered far and wide, many deposited on adjacent properties and in the streets. And for months later, the search continued for displaced bodies after the tragedy. And for families, the anguish of loved ones missing from their graves was renewed by having to rebury them as if they had died again. Diamond Cemetery and many other local cemeteries in the region still bear the scars of Katrina 11 years later and will never be as they were, though cemetery restoration is technologically feasible. Honestly, we could do multiple episodes on the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina and the destruction it caused. The death toll is estimated to be approximately 1,833 people, which is just beyond. And that obviously doesn't include all the people that were victimized in other ways by Hurricane Katrina. Now, after Hurricane Katrina, there was another storm called Hurricane Rita. I think it was like a month or two later, or it was the following month, I believe. And between the two catastrophic events, nearly 1,000 coffins and vaults were left floating across the Gulf Coast. I mean, this was massive. We're talking like 2-ton concrete vaults, tombs, coffins, just floating like little boats, landing themselves in people's fucking yards, fields, swamps, all kinds of places. And actually, in a recovery search after these storms, this is interesting. They found a vault underwater in a marsh that clearly had been there for a long time, and it was covered in barnacles. And they determined it was probably a victim of a hurricane called Hurricane Audrey in 1957.
Oh shit.
So like while they were looking for those, they found that
older one. Wow.
And I was reading a New York Times article. They were talking about this guy named Dr. Brian Bertucci, who was the literal coroner of St. Bernard Parish in New Orleans. And he had a coffin show up on his lawn. And I was like, talk about bringing your work home with you, my God. Another parish resident called him and told him, like called this doctor guy and told him that he was at the local cemetery because he, was checking on his family. And he's like, okay, like thank God his grandma was still there when he went to check, but she was out of her coffin wearing the little pink gown that she was buried in.
Oh.
Imagine.
Oh, brother.
That would be just so...
It's traumatizing.
Shocking and so traumatizing to see. I cannot imagine.
Yeah. I'm just in shock. I mean, obviously... we live in California. We have great weather, yada, yada. And like the little storm that we had, it obviously affected so many people because California is not built for it.
Right.
But we were inconvenienced and we were like, fuck, man, all this rain and whatever. But we have no idea. I couldn't imagine coffins floating by.
If a coffin landed on your lawn, are you kidding me? You're just checking to see on family. Like,
I know.
That would be traumatizing to be like, okay.
I remember being, 15 when Hurricane Katrina happened and seeing so much news coverage of it and seeing people like floating on their roofs. And
yes.
it was just, we have no idea.
It feels dystopian to see, and we're so disconnected from it that it's why some people don't even call it by name because of how traumatic of an event it was. Like a lot of people will just, I guess, based on what I've read from the articles, correct me if I'm wrong if you live here, but a lot of people will just be like, oh yeah, after the storm or like whatever. They don't even want to say Hurricane Katrina because of how devastating it was. And because you think of all the things too, I mean, people's entire homes, right? All of their belongings, their fucking pets, their dogs, every animal, that's like what I always think of when there's like a tornado or something. I'm like, God, the fucking dogs and stuff are just like either dead or they're like, I don't know where I am.
What's going on? Yeah.
Yeah. But the New York Times also spoke with another doctor, Dr. Louis Cataldi, the state emergency medical director, who said that coffins were torn out of mausoleums like a child's blocks. It's very disturbing to a lot of families who want their loved one. It's very disturbing, he said. And I guess a lot of the coffins didn't have any sort of identifying marks on them. So figuring out exactly where they belong became this massive task afterwards.
Coffins have, I learned, and I wanted to do a coffin spinner on it, but it's just a little factoid that a lot of coffins have identification tubes.
Like serial numbers or something in them?
I think they're like little tubes that like slide in.
They actually talk about that in this article. In the New York Times article, they said, quote, some coffins built in the 1960s and later contained burial scrolls, but the names of the deceased screwed into the exterior, which is probably what you're talking about. In other cases, workers can trace the coffins using manufacturers' serial numbers and hand-drawn cemetery maps. Some family members have identified relatives through rosaries, scars, pacemakers, or x-ray evidence of fractures.
Oh.
If embalming is intact, a visual identification can sometimes be made, or DNA matching can be helpful. But obviously, this takes a lot of effort and a lot of time. Cemeteries are very important to people in the South, Dr. Cataldi said. We take care of our dead. In those cemeteries, they find their memories and their childhoods, and it's important to give them their mommies, daddies, and grandparents back. Federal officials from the Disaster Mortuary Operational Response Team, known as DMORT, are assisting local officials, this came out in 2005, just for reference, in finding and identifying the remains using marsh buggies, airboats, and helicopters. New coffins are found every day, sometimes in trees.
Oh.
Exposed skeletal remains have been salvaged from between cracked statues of Jesus and Mary. Like the remnants of classical antiquity, marble figures with broken wings rest on wasted cemetery lawns, lying amongst toppled headstones, some with inscriptions like hunting in heaven. Empty graves look like spaces between teeth. A mausoleum appears like a desk emptied of its drawers. Many are in extremely remote and inaccessible areas, Don Kelly, a spokesman for DMORT, said. mud. They have been carried way downrange into muck, swamp, and forest. Family members fear that relatives buried years ago are now hidden in unknown fields, their bodies and stories lost. The first place they came was their cemeteries, said Zeb Johnson, an investigator in southwestern Louisiana and the owner of Johnson Funeral Home in Lake Charles, who receives constant phone calls. This may go on for years. A few miles away in the town of Creole, the Sacred Heart Cemetery is full of disturbed graves. You just can't imagine that water could be that destructive, said Alicia Richards, 78, a retired teacher who came to the cemetery to check on the grave of her husband, Dalton Richard, which was intact. I knew everybody, said Miss Richard, crying when she saw dead friends missing. I knew where everybody lived. 2 missing from the mausoleum were her students, and she thought that there might be more. I know them very well playing football, she recalled. Such a horrible thing. I knew these people. Where did they go? In St. Bernard Parish, just east of New Orleans, Merrick Cemetery is one of many devastated graveyards. Situated in a historically black section of Violet, it is full of cinder block tombs built by neighborhood residents who often painted them on the birthdays of the dead. Larry Isola, 32, a lawyer, would like to know where his dead grandfather and mother are, as well as his grandmother, buried days before Hurricane Katrina hit. They've got to go back, Mr. Isola said. The problem is trying to figure out how to put them back together. Louisiana was hit again by Hurricane Ida in more recent years, and it was an all too familiar story of heartbreak for residents that were left wading through mud just trying to find like their loved ones' caskets and headstones, with tombs again ending up in yards or under like splintered homes. Some just tombs just stuck in the mud. And Floridians with loved ones buried in Florida's Oakland Cemetery were met with similar circumstances after Hurricane Ian recently, where people rushed to the cemetery after the storm to ensure their loved ones' remains were safe. But unfortunately, the graveyard was just filled to the brim with like broken caskets, fallen trees, and a shit ton of water. And it's something crazy that I had never really put much thought into.
Because you think of when a natural disaster happens, you obviously think about the living. That's the most important, and keeping the living alive. But then there's also the aftermath of all the damage, all the trauma, and then the cemeteries. It's just wild.
It's wild.
So sad.
But yeah, it seems like I read about some instances in India as well. I think it was in Chennai and Jakarta. Similar devastation. There was also in the 90s, there was a flood in Texas. But it's just nothing we've really dealt with in California, I don't think, but just crazy.
We've earthquake.
Yeah.
Which could be another coffin spinner.
I'm sure. It is really crazy how destructive water can be.
Yep. Crazy.
Well, but
thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Definitely a different perspective.
It's interesting to think about. It's interesting to see, but we are going to take another quick break. And when we come back, we'll hear what had you spinning in your coffin. We'll be right back. And we're back. What had you spinning in your coffin this week?
All right, Geoffs. I also was thinking about weather. Spencer, our coffin spinners actually go pretty well together. We've talked about it so much. And when you guys listen to this, it'll be a week or two later, but we've been going through a pretty bad storm here. And whenever weather happens, it's out of the norm for us Californians. I always think about lightning strikes. And also, remember last week I said I kind of wanted to be a weather girl? Well, here's my chance.
Oh, let's hear it. Meteorologist Madison Reyes.
Okay, so this week I wanted to know what happens when someone is struck by lightning and talk about a few stories of victims of random lightning strikes.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so I first watched a video that I linked from National Geographic.
Have you ever seen the video where they mess up on the news and they're playing a clip and the reporter's trying to talk about a woman that was struck by lightning? No. And then it like freezes?
What is it? I have my phone.
Give me your phone.
Laura Esterman was struck by lightning nearly a month ago, and she was considered officially dead. Thankfully, CPR from her mom revived her heart, but she laid in a coma for 2 weeks, and then she defied all odds and woke up.
I should buy
Oh, no.
Well, obviously, there was a problem with that tape. She doesn't really sound like that. She doesn't remember the accident, but the evidence is clear. I am so sorry. Laura's learning to walk again after the lightning burned her legs. And we'll have more on that story and hopefully get that tape fixed for you.
Oh, they're all laughing.
I'm sorry. I love a news blooper.
Oh, we will sit and watch them. Oh my God, like compilations of them on YouTube. Oh my God.
Poor lady.
Poor lady.
Sorry, go on. National Geographic.
Okay.
What'd they say?
Oh my God. Well, I watched a video called The Science of Lightning. And the video is about 10 years old, but at that time it said that lightning happened worldwide about 50 to 100 times a second, with the greatest concentrations being in Himalaya, Africa, and South America. And then according to the CDC, they say lightning strikes happen about 6,000 times a minute. That averages out to 8 million times a day, which I never thought that. I don't know. You see lightning a couple times. I didn't know it happened 8 million times a fucking day.
Yeah.
The CDC also said that between 2006 and 2021, lightning caused 28 deaths per year in the United States alone. That's terrifying to me, but if it makes you feel any better, I was driving the other day and I saw an infographic at a bus stop that said your chances of being struck by lightning are 1 in 500,000.
Perfect.
I've also read 1 in a million, so
Wait a second. Have any of you been struck by lightning?
I would love to hear some stories.
Please write to us, or if you know, I mean, yeah, one of you has to. Statistically, one of you's got to know or know someone. So let us know.
Lightning typically happens when electrically charged particles within a cloud or between a cloud and the ground equalize their charge by creating a sudden flow of electricity. I am a weather girl. And then boom, a stroke of pure electricity hits the ground. Then the intense heat generated by a lightning bolt heats the air around it, causing it to expand, which creates thunder. So you have lightning and then you have thunder.
Right.
Okay.
The light, then the noise.
Yep. The higher the structure on Earth, the more likely it is to be hit by lightning. So big buildings, antennas, and power lines, trees, and towers are more likely to get hit. I read that lightning is attracted to conductive materials, which means...
Oh, she has a type.
Yes, which means materials that allow electricity to flow easily. So metal objects and wet objects are more likely to be struck by lightning because they allow a path for the electricity to travel.
Got it.
Okay. I have some legit sources for this coffin spinner. I did my research because I have no fucking clue what I'm talking about really ever. So I went over to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration for the United States.
What'd they say?
To get some tips and tricks for us. They said, do go inside when you hear thunder or see lightning. Don't retreat to dugouts, sheds, pavilions, picnic shelters, or other small structures. Do find a sturdy house, building, or a car with a hardtop roof. Don't use or touch electronics, outlets, or corded phones when you see lightning.
Oh, I never thought of that.
I know. Do stay indoors for at least 30 minutes after you last hear thunder, which I don't fucking do. When I see lightning or thunder, my head is in the window or out the window, or I'm in the backyard trying to see it. Don't go under or near tall trees. Don't swim or even be near water. And don't go by metal objects or windows, which I fucking do. And I know it sounds silly, but lightning is serious shit, and it can strike you even if the skies are clear and there isn't any rain or thunder around.
Well, have you ever been in like a desert climate
Yeah.
And it just does it when it's not raining?
Yep.
Or like Hawaii, I feel like always has wild weather sometimes.
Because it's like humidity hot, and that's what it likes. Yep. Okay, did you guys know that Martha Stewart has been struck by lightning?
I did know that.
3 times. Today she's in her 80s and she says that she's actually better for it. But I guess she told Ellen DeGeneres a few years ago in an interview that the first time she was struck, she was, quote, leaning against an iron sink and saw the lightning go down the pipe out in her garden.
Oh my God.
And then it came back up through the sink, through the water, and hit her in the stomach and threw her on the floor, and her husband found her.
Holy shit.
The second time she was struck through a skylight in her home, which I have a skylight in my shower. And then the third time she didn't say what happened, but she did say that she just attracts electricity.
Damn. I love Martha Stewart.
I do too.
She's a baddie.
She is a baddie. And she got lucky because she was struck 3 times and didn't die. But let's say you do get struck. What does it feel like?
Probably not great.
Not great. If you're struck, only about 10% of the time is it fatal. However, it's still fucking brutal.
Have you seen like the scars from people that are struck by lightning?
Yeah, we'll get into that. So imagine 1 billion volts of electricity hitting you, depending on the lightning. I also read, and I never thought about this, like it's not just like it hits you, it has to enter and exit you.
Oh.
Which is fucking wild to think about. It's like a bullet.
Uh-huh.
The most common side effect is cardiac arrest, and this usually happens because the electricity just fucks up like your normal heart rhythm. And you can also receive, obviously, severe neurological issues, nerve damage, internal ruptures, damaged organs. You also, no matter what, will most likely have some terrible burns from where the strike enters and exit you, major tissue damage. I also read that if it strikes you in your head, it can cook your brain, which doesn't sound too appetizing. Not to mention the extreme PTSD. There are so many cases of personality changes and just so much trauma from people who have survived.
Oh, I'd be telling everyone if I got...
The one cool thing is that you do have like an exciting story. And then the other thing is that you sometimes can have a Lichtenberg scar. And these are also referred to as keranography, which is the belief that lightning can leave really cool markings on your body. And I've seen pictures, and I think that's what you were probably alluding to, Spence, of people with scars where they have been supposedly struck by lightning, and it literally like looks like the shape of lightning, and it's beautiful. Well, I found that these are mostly myths and those aren't real. And although lightning can leave markings and scars on your body, it doesn't really look like super beautiful and symmetrical.
You're telling me when I was little looking at peopleofwalmart.com and there was a little picture of doctors couldn't believe this woman struck by lightning? That was not real?
Well, you know when the myth started, I read, was in the Victorian era. So go figure.
Oh, go figure.
Okay, but one other cool thing is that you could get a cool nickname like Human Lightning Rod.
That's not a cool nickname.
Oh, I thought it was cool. And that was the name of a man named Roy Sullivan. And he received that name after being recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records because he apparently had been struck by lightning more than anyone and survived.
I'm like, I don't know if you're lucky or unlucky.
Well, his story is wild. So Roy was a park ranger working in Virginia. And between 1942 and 1977, he was struck 7 different times by lightning. So the first time was in 1942, and he was waiting out a thunderstorm in a lookout tower in the national park where he worked. And lightning struck the tower and started a fire. The whole tower was on fire, and he had to run out of the tower, and lightning got him right in the right leg and foot. He was okay, though. He had burns and scars, but he was okay. He survived that. Then in 1969, the second instance happened when he was driving. I guess he was driving like a big truck and his window was down and lightning struck a tree and then it like bounced through his window.
Jeez.
And it struck him, knocked him unconscious, and he almost drove off a cliff because he was still driving. Also, the lightning caused his hair to catch on fire and his eyebrows were burned off.
Oh my God.
Could you imagine unconscious, your head's on fire?
He probably looked shocked.
Insane. A year later, he was struck a 3rd time. This time, he was standing in his garden at home.
What?
This one left wounds on his shoulder, but apparently lightning struck a power transformer and it jumped to him and struck him.
Lightning loves this guy.
Okay, well, a year later, he gets struck again while he's at work and his hair catches on fire again. And this is when he's like, okay,
something's off.
Am I cursed? Like something is going on. Then, a year after that, he is struck again at work, but he said that he felt this time that the cloud that he saw was actually following him, and he tried to outrun it, but he obviously didn't. This one struck him on the left side and blew his shoes off.
Oh my God.
And then jumped to the right side, and again, his head caught on fire.
Does he have like some sort of crazy molecular makeup or something?
I don't know. I think he's just unlucky. Then in 1976, he sees a cloud and he feels like it's following him. And he's like, I'm going to get fucking struck again. Tries to outrun it. He gets struck, hurts his ankle, and his hair catches on fire again.
I don't mean to laugh, but it's so wild.
Why is his hair always being caught on fire? Then in 1977, this is the final time he gets struck by lightning.
Jeez, thank God.
He goes out fishing, and he, is fishing in like a freshwater stream, having a good day, gets struck by lightning in the head, and his hair catches on fire again, and his chest and his stomach were badly burned.
What?
But he was still conscious, so he tried to go to his car because he's like, this shit's after me. Like, I got to get to shelter. He tries to go to his car. Then a bear comes out of nowhere.
What?
And tries to steal his fish that he was catching. Now he has to fight off a bear with a stick while his head's on fire. And he did. And
He's either the world's
got away.
unluckiest guy or the world's greatest liar.
And I also read, he said, that's the 22nd time he's had to fight off a bear. So I don't know, but all of these incidences were documented by the national park where he worked, which then gained him the Guinness Book of World Records.
Fuck.
This is the sad thing, and this is where I think about people can survive lightning strikes, but you do have personality changes and long-term things even if you survive. In 1983, Roy was 71 years old and he sadly shot himself in the head. I've read many articles that it says he was upset about a love affair that he was in that didn't work out, but I truly think if you get struck that many times,
there's got to be some PTSD.
PTSD or changes in your brain chemistry, I don't know, but
what a crazy
most
life.
Unlucky man. A close runner-up, though, is a man named Walter Summerford. Walter was a British officer in World War I, and he was on the battlefield in 1918, and he was riding his horse when he was struck by lightning. He was thrown from his horse and was unfortunately paralyzed from the waist down because of this. However, if he rehabbed it, he would be able to gain feeling and be able to walk again. So because of this, he was discharged, but he did rehab his lower body and was able to walk again. So then he moves to Canada. In 1924, he's in Canada. He's all healthy, can walk, everything. He decides to go fishing. When he was fishing, he was standing under a tree. Lightning struck the tree and it also struck him. This time, his whole right side of his body was paralyzed. However, again, if he rehabbed it, he'd gain feeling and movement back, which he did. He gained full mobility. Then in 1930, he was out walking and was struck again by lightning. This time, his whole body was paralyzed with no hope of recovery, and he lived the following 2 years in a hospital bed and then passed in 1932.
Jeez.
He was laid to rest in Vancouver, Canada, in a cemetery called Mountain View Cemetery. 4 years after he's laid to rest, in 1936, Walter was struck by lightning again.
What?
A random bolt hit his tombstone one night and cracked it. And what's bizarre is that each lightning strike happened 6 years apart from one another.
Wasn't there one of the cursed graves you talked about that got struck by lightning?
I don't know if it was struck by lightning. I went back into my notes to try to search it, and I don't think it was struck by lightning.
Interesting.
But here's his tombstone.
God.
I know.
Mother Nature she is a destructive gal.
Really destructive. Lastly, I feel like we've maybe mentioned this story before, but not super in depth. But in the Democratic Republic of Congo, which is in Central Africa, in October of 1998, there was a soccer game or football game taking place between two teams.
Oh, fuck. I know this story.
The teams were Bena Shadi and Basanga. And while the teams were playing, a stroke of lightning hit the field, killing 11 players on the Beneshada team.
God.
And all of the 11 players were in their 20s and 30s, and about 30 other people who were there received bad burns from the incident, but it killed the entire soccer team.
Isn't that fucking nuts?
It is so nuts. I was looking for footage of it. I couldn't find it, but I found so many other videos of that happening and thankfully not killing anybody, but people playing soccer. There's one in particular from a few years ago where you see and hear the lightning strike and then you just see players dropping and either like convulsing or just like shell shock.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. This story is crazy, though, too, because it led to a ton of rumors about witchcraft, that maybe the other team performed some witchcraft on the team that died.
Interesting.
Very interesting. But it's pretty insane that a whole soccer team dies. Everyone on the same team just dies from a random lightning strike.
Well, speaking of witchcraft, Madison,
Oh,
I'm going to take us straight into some obituaries.
okay.
Thank you for the wonderful coffin spinner. This obituary says, alleged witch dies in auto accident.
Oh, no.
Rochester, Indiana, November 5th. Mrs. Irene Ray, 62, I think this is from 1947, who was held for a time on vagrancy charge after neighbors complained she had worked a hex spell over them, was killed, and her husband Lewis, 65, was injured by an automobile near Rochester. May Kern, 46, was driving the car.
Damn, not a hex.
Alleged witch.
Wow.
Who you got?
I have from the Henrietta Daily Freelance from July 18th, 1957. It says, Lightning Strikes Mother, Spares Babe. By United Press, 2 babies being held in arms by their mothers survive by seeming miracles when death struck the women, one from a lightning bolt in Florida and the other from an automobile in Mississippi. One child was thrown unhurt upon the top of a car that fatally injured his mother Wednesday, and the other child was left unscathed when lightning instantly killed his mother. Mrs. G.C. White, 231 of New Albany, was carrying her 6-month-old baby in her arms along a country road when she was struck by the car. She died in a hospital 4 hours later. Mrs. Harvey King, 25 of Dade City, Florida, picked up her son Ronald and walked into her yard to inspect an oak tree that had just been struck by lightning 2 days ago. A second bolt struck the tree, killing Mrs. King. The child fell to the ground beside the mother's body without receiving the slightest injury from the bolt.
My God.
I took the dogs out to pee last night because the rain had stopped and I was nervous.
God, this is not good for your OCD.
Because you don't think about it. It's scary.
God. Oh,
Well,
Lord. There
Pick
it
up
is.
another weird ritual I'll have to do.
Yeah, seriously. We have spun in our coffins.
We have bitched our obituaries.
And that means it's time for some dumb
Ass
criminals. And I've got quite the gal. You want to look at her mugshot?
Oh, she looks confused.
She looks like she was struck by lightning.
Yeah, she does.
Well, Madison, it seems the streets of Austin were treated to quite the impromptu performance.
Okay.
According to court documents, Austin's finest were forced to intervene when a nude sensation, 26-year-old Davy Nichols, decided to spice up not one, but 2 street-level patios with her unique brand of entertainment.
Okay.
Charged with the rather revealing offense of indecent exposure, Miss Nichols, the woman, found herself in some trouble, and it all began with a complaint from the JW Marriott Austin Hotel, where 2 officers were called to respond to a scene around 5:20 p.m. There they found Miss Nichols seated ever so casually at a patio table at Second Bar and Kitchen without her pants on,
Okay.
as described in the arrest affidavit. When approached by an officer, she suddenly developed a keen interest in tabletop stillness, revealing her lack of lower attire. So they threatened to arrest her because she is just pantsless at this fucking hotel restaurant. They handcuff her and she starts masturbating, allegedly.
Okay.
But there's more. Further investigation by the officers uncovered an earlier performance at the JW Marriott where an employee had the pleasure of witnessing Miss Nichols engaging in some creative self-expression there as well. She had a silver object that she was using to masturbate in front of an audience that were sitting on the patio, complete with sound effects.
Oh my gosh, what an entertainer.
All in all, she was determined to leave her mark on the streets of Austin, one patio at a time.
Oh God, help her.
Arrested and taken to jail. Her bail was set at a modest $3,000.
Okay. Oh Lord.
Can't do it.
You definitely can't do it even if you want to.
She said, I'm going to put on a show. Not once,
But twice. Okay.
Well, technically 3 times with the officers as well.
Oh yeah.
Crazy lady.
Oh God. Okay. Well, I have one just in time for Valentine's Day from
Ooh.
the Daily Mail. It says a Florida man hauled off to jail after he allegedly chucked a package of Oreo cookies at his wife during a domestic argument about the couple's coffee maker. So apparently this man, 70-year-old John Sandoval, he's been married to his wife for 40 years. He gets into an argument with her about how there's no water in the coffee maker in the morning. And I get that can be, that can be upsetting. Sure. But he picks up a package of Oreos, hurls them at her, hits her in the chest with them, and she falls over, and he gets taken to jail, and he was slapped with a felony domestic battery charge of a person 65 years or older following the incidents.
Wow, that's my Scandival.
Scandival. Absolutely. It's not a great last name.
Oreo. Oh my God. Oh, shit.
Oh, God.
So we didn't have time to go to the P.O. Box this week, but we will be going by next week. And if you have something you want to send us, you can send it to P.O. Box 18149, Long Beach, California, 90807.
And if you're looking for a good book that you want to read, go to prh.com/obitchuary and pre-order The Big Hot Book of Death.
Yes, and you can follow us everywhere on Instagram at obituarypod.
And TikTok at obituary podcast.
And you can write to us, obitpod@gmail.com. But that is it for this week. We will see you next week with some more Waffen Spinners.
Obituaries.
And dumb
ass
criminals. Goodbye.
Goodbye.